Hey folks, this is Vent with Dad's Gaming Addiction, and welcome to episode 17. We are on 17, right? Yeah, 17 of the DGA podcast. I am your host, Vince. With me in the quote-unquote studio is...
Idly.
Idly!
Woohoo!
Yay!
Yes, yay!
A good one.
Hooray! Woohoo!
Based on what you're wearing, I'd have to say...
Mamma mia.
Aw, thank you.
Yeah.
I try to dress up a little bit, just a little bit for the New Year's. So,
Okay.
you know.
Open salami.
What? I was hoping you would not play that one, because that's pretty...
Alright. Family friendly.
Here we go.
Here we go. Okay.
Wow, dude. Already started off great.
Okie dokie.
So sorry. I'm having way too much fun with these sound effects. All right. So it's been, I don't even know how long, about a month since I've last done a podcast, or since we've last done a podcast. I've had some medical issues. I was diagnosed with chronic illnesses, and I am now trying to figure out the right medication to manage my pain. So, I don't know how regular this podcast is going to be. It's just whenever I feel like it, I guess. And when we actually have something to talk about. That being said, if you'd like to support us, we do have a Patreon page. There's links in the below description. Idly's also battling some kind of allergy bout. So if you hear sniffling, I will on occasion yell at her via Arnold Schwarzenegger here. Maybe like a...
Stop it!
Yeah. Or...
I have, like, chronic allergies or something.
Stop it!
Yes, chronic allergies. So,
Yes.
yeah, we're in great shape is what we're trying to say. So if we're sniffling all over the place or whatever, just bear with us.
I'll try to keep it down to a minimum, or at least put my mic on mute or something. If I really need to go crazy.
All right, then.
Open salami.
What?
Okay, all right.
I don't even know what that's in reference to anymore.
All right. Here we go.
Okay.
Our top 5 this year is going to be New Year's themed. So we're thinking, and we actually had 2 topics, but we're going to save one of them for the next podcast. Probably next week, hopefully. I do have Patreon thank yous to get out there, but not everyone has... Patreon hasn't, like, charged your cards yet. So I don't have the amounts to really give out right now. So I guess I'll do the Patreon and Twitch thank yous in the next podcast. Again, hopefully next week. This week, our top 5 is going to be top 5 New Year's resolutions that game developers should honor. So, in essence, it's kind of like a wish list of things that I wish game developers did better. I mean, there are some that do all of these things. They tick all the right boxes. And then there are some game developers that barely tick any of them. So we were planning to come up with a joined list of 5, because I'm like, how many things could we possibly come up with? But I came up with 5, and the 5 she came up with were completely different. So once again, we'll have our own lists here, and we'll just go down the list. So starting with number 5... so that, again, these are things that I wish game developers would do. These are top 5 New Year's resolutions that game developers should honor. My number 5, as an example, a clear point of contact for support and press. What I mean by that is this. Oftentimes, as a content creator, I'll go on Steam and I'll browse and I'll look for a game that I want to cover. And then I see one, oh, that looks interesting. Okay. So I go to the Steam page, and I look on the right-hand side toward the middle. It'll say, like, view all discussions, and this is what I look for, visit the website. I look for that link to visit their website, and 8 times out of 10, there's some kind of email on that website that I can contact for a copy. But there are game developers out there that put games out on Steam. There's no website, no point of contact. The only way that people can contact the developer is through the Steam forums. On occasion, I've had to go to the Steam forums, type in the word email or contact, and then look through, like, so that Steam will scan all of the posts for some kind of email address that the developer has posted somewhere in response to someone else. So, like, my big thing is you need to be organized. People that are having issues with the game, or people that want to know more about your game, or PR people that want to cover your game, give some kind of clear point of contact. If you can, put it right on the Steam store page. You should, even if you don't want to give out your personal email, create a business email just for that game. That way, if it gets spammed, you're not out a whole lot. You know what I mean? That, to me, having some kind of clear point of contact to developers, I think is a biggie. What do you think of this?
I think as a gamer,
yes.
yeah, instead of like a gaming consultant, or what are you, a liaison or something like that?
Content creator, but okay.
Sure.
I mean, I blog, I review, so I'm part game reviewer, part journalist, because I do like cover upcoming games and news on occasion. But for the most part, I'd be classified as a content creator, someone that just creates content for YouTube and Twitch. But
yeah, and as a gamer, it's not as important, but I think it's still sort of important, depending on if you really, really need to get in contact with them. I don't know.
if the game's broken and you need to tell the developer and you're doing it through Steam forums, that's no. You need, again, that's why I said press via support. Gamers will need an email or a point of contact for support issues and bugs. Press people will need an email for, advertising and other things. You know what I mean?
And that's why I think like Discord is one of the best inventions ever, and it's such a necessity for almost every game, to be honest.
Agreed. Discord has definitely helped. I like the fact that you can assign roles in Discord. Like, you can clearly see who's a Patreon supporter, or who's a content creator, who backed it via Kickstarter, or who's a game developer, so you can message them personally. I still think Discord, like, that's still the equivalent of going through the Steam forums and trying to get a hold of someone. At least you can private message them in Discord, but still, there should be, I'm old-fashioned, there should be some kind of business contact.
Yeah.
As opposed to some poor sap getting hit with 30 IMs or private messages or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true. But I like Discord just because of the live chat. You know, like, you don't have to wait around to wait for a message from the developer, whereas Discord is just, it's live right there. You know, they'll get pinged immediately.
Right. Makes sense. What was your number 5?
Mine was just to be courteous. You know,
Courteous.
there's a lot of game devs that are already very courteous, even if it's fake. But there are a lot of other game devs that just don't really give a crap about anyone.
You directed me recently to, when I was reviewing Beetle Uprising, that game developer, like, people were complaining about the breeding system, and the developer was like, well, Mendel was able to do it, and Gregor Mendel was able to do it in his basement, and you should be able to too.
So,
like, that's pretentious little. Anyway, so like, no, like, if people have complaints about a particular game mechanic, your response should not be get good or get out. It should. I mean, even if that's how you feel, you should still have some tact in the way you treat your community.
Exactly.
They paid money for your game. The least you can do is let them vent about a thing that they don't like. I mean,
and it's just good business practice, you know, to just be courteous. If you're gonna be like a know-it-all or a little, you know, a-hat, you know, no one's gonna want to be around you.
Right. And to be clear, a game developer is not going to make everyone happy. Just like I had to recognize that when I went into content creating and journalism. Like, you're not going to make everyone happy. You're going to review something, and unless 100% of people out there have the same opinion, which that never happens, then you're not going to make everyone happy. So, and on one hand, the developer needs to stay true to their artistic vision, but at the same time, they still need to keep an open mind and listen to other people and have good judgment as to when to make the changes. You know what I mean? When they're like, oh, you know what? I have this vision, but what you're saying actually makes a lot more sense. Maybe I should implement that. So it's okay to have your own vision, but it's also important. Like Captain Kirk ran a ship, and he was smart. He had ideas, but if Spock or Scotty suggested something better, he was wise enough and captain enough to listen to them. You know what I mean? He didn't he wasn't a dictator about it. So I don't know.
I think a lot of game devs suffer through tunneling, like vision, that they cannot take any criticism.
Yeah, I on occasion have that problem. I have a short temper sometimes when it comes to rude comments on my channel or just criticisms in general of the way I do things. But there's a big difference though. Like no one is typically these people leaving comments like they're not paying to see my stuff, whereas customers are paying for product when it comes to buying a game and providing feedback. I think had this person on my channel left a criticism for me, but we're not doing anything to support my channel whatsoever, I think I have every right to blow them off. You know what I mean? Just because. I mean, nicely. Blow them off nicely. Not in a way that's rude or vile. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I give more preference to suggestions and ideas that come from people that are actually interested in supporting me, not, people that just want to come by and complain. Yum. Did you just mute yourself so you can blow your nose? Oh, there you go. You didn't mute, by the way.
Yes, I did. Wait. Did I not mute?
I heard it. I heard. You muted for a second, then you unmuted. I don't know what happened there.
Wait, can you still hear me now?
I can hear you right now.
What?
I can totally hear you.
Oh my gosh. Alright, so I guess my mute button doesn't work. I'm sorry.
It's fine.
Oh my gosh, that's so embarrassing.
If I remember, I'll play some kind of sound effect over it. But the chances of that happening, my memory is terrible, so... Alright.
Hello, sister. Oh my gosh, my mute button doesn't work! Oh, duh, because I'm using the boom mic than the headphones mic. Oh my god, I'm so stupid.
Okie dokie.
You're muted now. Well, this is fun. I guess I'll just I'll just play with sound effects for a while until she actually comes back on camera. Let's see.
When 900 years old you reach, look as good you will not.
Come cheer up, my lads, 'tis to
There we go.
glory we steer, to find something new in this wonderful year. To
Okay,
honor
not better?
all you
I'm so
dream
sorry.
and
I'm so sorry.
for who
Oh my gosh, that was embarrassing. I should have disabled my camera too. I didn't even think of that.
Data.
Okay.
What you're doing. My gosh.
So, I guess... Yeah, Number 4.
Okay.
Alright. Regular updates and clear communication with the community. That's an issue that I have with some developers. I don't care if you're making this super popular game that's all the rage right now on Steam or wherever it is you're selling your game. If you're not communicating with the community and providing them with updates on a regular basis, that's just a recipe for failure, in my opinion. As much as I like Phasmophobia, the amount of time in between updates is unacceptable, in my opinion. I sound like a hypocrite. I have like over 100 hours now, 50 hours, whatever it is. I love it. I love playing it, but it's getting so stale because of how much I'm playing it. And the developer doesn't release updates nearly quick enough for my taste, and he doesn't really communicate with his community. So, like, I like the game, but at the same time, it pisses me off that some developers can't be bothered to get a PR person to, even if it's a volunteer on Discord or something, to keep people updated with what's going on, what they're working on. Some developers, and I like this, some developers will release a Twitch stream and they'll code on stream and show people what they're working on. That is so cool. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how to code, and watching them do all this stuff is kind of neat and interesting to watch. And you can ask them questions and they answer it. Like Empires of the Undergrowth, those developers were doing a stream, and I was asking them questions about upcoming content, and they were like, "Oh, hey, DGA, hi." You know, like, you feel like you're part of something when you're, you know, when you're that close with the developers and you're talking to them. But you've got this developer that insists on hiding behind a computer and not talking to anyone while they're making a game. To me, that's just poor service all the way around. I think, again, regular updates, clear communication with the community.
Yeah, it's all about transparency, like being transparent as a game developer. Epic Tavern, they do like constant streams.
Yeah.
And I'm always there, and their game is okay, but the fact that they're like, you know, just belting out lots of stuff and showing things, you know, it makes me like the game even more. So
are they actually like, I believe the game has mixed reviews on Steam right now because of bugs and crashes. Are they releasing new content and not fixing bugs? Like, are they not focusing on the bugs first, but instead they're just releasing DLCs and more content, or what are they doing?
I don't know. I think they're making more like stories, and I think they are fixing bugs in the process. I've actually asked them before, are they, you know, is time management a problem? And he actually completely evaded the question and said that he wasn't, you know, he's not going to get into that. So I'm thinking that they have a little bit of time problems.
That bothers me.
It does.
What bothers me is when a company releases DLC, paid DLC,
yeah,
without first fixing the bugs with the core game. Like, that's when you know that they're more concerned about the money than concerned about making people happy. And that's when I'm like, eh.
I didn't know they even had a DLC.
Yeah, there was that sexed up baths DLC or something where you can, like, nude models in the bathtubs. Like, they were. Is it Epic Tavern? No, it's another tavern game that I'm thinking of.
Crossroads
Inn. That's it.
Okay.
So I got my games mixed up there.
Yeah.
All right. So I have not played Epic Tavern. Is that the one where you're forming parties and going out into the world? And I can't remember anymore.
Dungeons and Dragons. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
you're rolling dice to come up with a dice check.
All right. I have not played that for a couple of years now. I played that when it's very early alpha. I have not touched. I may have to come back to it. Have you played it recently?
It still has mixed reviews. I haven't played it recently, but I have seen the developers like constantly, you know, communicating with their following, with their audience members, their viewers. So they're still belting out things.
Okay,
you know,
that's fair enough. Just one content creator, so many games, so little time. I'll maybe get to it at some point. You know, if my chances of covering it will increase if it's stable, bug free, and fun.
The point is transparency. Like, it's always good to have developers constantly communicating, constantly, you know, keeping games updated. On the other hand, I will say, after console gaming, when I actually went like to the transition of going to Steam, I didn't care about updates. I honestly don't.
That's because we were used to it. We were used to buying a game off the shelf, and what you got was what you got. Back in the day, there was no internet to connect to. Your Nintendo Entertainment System didn't dial up to the internet and download patches. That didn't start happening until, the Xbox and the PlayStation 3?
It's a double-edged sword, though, because, now I think developers are very lazy in the sense that they can, they have the mentality of releasing a game even if it has bugs, whereas before, if it was like a console game, you would really have to try and make it perfect because there are no patch updates or anything like that.
Yeah.
You know, but
Well, it's a different time. Like that's
It is.
look at early access. There was no early access back in the day. Like you didn't go to Kmart. Look at the store shelf. Oh, look, Double Dragon early access. So if I buy this now, how does this work? Do I get a free copy later on in the mail? Like that? No, that never happened. There was no early access back in the 1980s.
Oh man,
You know what
I
I mean?
miss those days though. I miss those days.
Yeah. Back in the day when we could go into Kmart and there would be 2 controllers there in the electronics section. We could play whatever game was up there. I would stay there for a half an hour while my parents went through the store and bought whatever. I would be sitting there playing the game, my brother and I. Yeah.
Yep, same here.
Yeah. What was your number 4?
Mine was play your game. Developers really need to actually play their game for the full length, I think. And they need to do this to get rid of bugs, to know what their player base is getting into, because there's so many developers that just make the game, they test the game a little bit, but they don't actually play their game.
They put it on early access so that people test it for them.
Yeah, I hate that. Like, if you're gonna put the time in to make a game, play it. Play it as well to see if other people will like it.
I can understand if it's a technical issue where on this graphics card there's an issue, but like a game developer cannot possibly have 50 different computers lined up in their basement, whatever, to test the game on each graphics card. Like,
Yeah.
I can understand that. But when it
Yeah.
comes to actual gameplay, like if there's a glitch in game, it's not technical, but more of a coding thing or whatever. That needs to be tested prior to release. If you release your game half broken on early access, there's no excuse for that. I understand that early access is a place for games that are still being developed. I get that, but it should still be somewhat playable. And not prone to constant crashing and all that jazz. Like.
Yeah.
It should not be a prototype, is what I'm trying to say.
I hate balance updates so much because that kind of proves to me that game developers are mostly looking to the viewers to, balance it for them. Why don't they just play the game and balance it themselves? It's just, I don't know, that bothers me so much sometimes.
There is one defense, and I'm going to play devil's advocate. I'm not saying you're right or wrong. I'm devil's advocate.
Okay.
When a game developer creates a faction or characters with certain abilities, because they programmed it, they know the ins and outs of what strategies to use. You know what I mean? So what some people may think, like a regular gamer like me, may not know what the developer knows in terms of all the ins and outs of like the behind the scenes numbers and stuff, the numbers that get rolled. So like the developer may have strategies for these characters in mind that everyone else doesn't because they don't know the behind the scenes coding that goes on into that character. So I can see where the developer may need player feedback. As a programmer, I know that this is balanced because of these numbers on my coding sheet. But as a layman, I need laymen who have no knowledge of the behind-the-scenes stuff to tell me what the balance is. I can see where that would need to go back and forth a little bit, because there's a big difference between a casual player that doesn't bother to do all the number crunching and the game theories and all that, the theory craft, and a game developer who has a chart in front of them telling them how every character is and what the ideal setup is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I actually understand that, and I totally agree with that. However, if you have a chart in front of you and you're doing all this coding, but then you don't even play the game yourself and you don't actually do the grind, to balance it out, to see how everyone else would feel, that's what bothers me.
Look at Northgard. Northgard's factions are constantly being adjusted.
Oh my gosh.
Like,
I totally understand your point though. Like, that's actually a valid point I didn't think of, so that was good.
Yeah, well, that's why I'm the... No, I'm kidding.
That's why he's the host.
No. I'm wrong one time out of the year. I will admit that. I will.
Okay.
My ego was not that large. Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, okay. The games that I thought of are for that. Number 4 was League of Legends and Heroes of Hammerwatch, kind of, although I do know of a developer that does play that pretty often. And
You think League of Legends developers would play their own game? A MOBA is like a game like a MOBA where character skills are key. Like they should be playing that nonstop to make sure everything's working right.
I think that they really rely on anyone else. I don't think they even play their game. And that's just my personal opinion. I don't know that for sure. But I have such a...
You have a beef with League of Legends.
I do. I have a gripe with them. And I think their practices are so blech.
That's why I like Heroes of the Storm better.
I do too.
I only like Heroes better though because it's more casual, player friendly, and it supports co-op. When you've got League of Legends that is more last hit gets the reward, that's not a team game at that point. It's a you're on the same team but I'm competing with my teammates. No. Everything that you do should contribute to the whole, and that's what Heroes of the Storm does. Anyway, I've said this multiple times.
We need like a beating of the dead horse sound effect.
we need a bingo card with that particular concept on it, so that people can check it off every time I say that. I agree. I'm sorry. I get it.
All right. What's your number 3?
My number 3. My number 3 is more innovation and less copy and pasting from previous games. There is a game called Kingdom 2 Crowns that is two-dimensional. It's pretty... it has its faults, but it's a town defense game with towers on either side. Then you've got this other game, New Age...
Wild Age?
Yes, Wild Age, that's it. It's a 3D look at the same kind of game, where you've got this guy using coins, you're buying archers, you're buying builders, yes, it adds a couple of new concepts, like you can equip different horses and mounts to get different stats, and you can actually cancel construction, so in some ways it's actually better than Kingdom 2 Crowns, but it has the same exact coin mechanic, where you're dropping coins on the ground to hire people, they run back to your base, you're using your coins to buy tools. Like, it's the same thing, except for a few improvements. And some wouldn't even consider a top-down 3D to even be an improvement, because whenever enemies attack your walls in that game, they continue running at the wall. They don't stop and hit it. There's no animation for that. They just keep running at the wall, running into it. I guess their forward momentum will somehow break the wall at some... I don't know. Like, the friction from their bodies against that wall will eventually wear it down to the point where they'll get through. But, yeah. Some games, like... And Slay the Spire. Slay the Spire was a pretty revolutionary roguelike deck building game. Then queue up all 5 million other games that came after it with the same exact concepts. On occasion, you'll get games like Griftlands that have their own unique spin and dare to do something different but along the same theme. But then you've got other games that are almost exact copies and pastes of, like, it doesn't offer anything new or fresh. You know what I mean? So, like, I want to see if you're going to create a game based off of a successful game in the past that doesn't even belong to you, you need to give it your own unique spin. You need to have your own innovation, your own way of setting it apart from that other game. Otherwise, it's going to be a copy and paste, and people are going to see it for what it is. And if it's not as good as that previous game, it's going to do poorly, because why would anyone buy that game if it's a copy and paste and it's not as good when they could just buy the other one or play the other one? You know what I mean? So you need to have your own unique spin. That's what made Griftlands, I think, so successful.
Yeah.
It was made by the folks who did Oxygen Not Included and Don't Starve Together. But still, like, they're quality developers. But still, like, Griftlands was a card deck builder with a really unique twist. And I can't sing enough high praises about that game. But anyway, any thoughts?
I agree. What about the Tropico series? Does that fall into that category?
Well, here's the thing. I like me some Tropico. Tropico 4, this is another bingo thing. I've said this before. Tropico 4 is my favorite because there was micromanagement of rent and wage. In 5 and 6, they dumbed that down, but added some BS politic like you've got these political groups now that you're trying to make happy. Before, people were happy based on your approval rating. So during an election in Tropico 4, if the happiness rating was 65%, then 65 out of 100 people would vote for you. Not in Tropico 5 and 6. You could have a happiness rating of 80%, but if your political parties were not happy, you could still get voted out of office. Like, yes, more realistic, but at the same time, like, it was annoying to deal with. I don't like that mechanic. I want Tropico 2 did something different. Tropico 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, all Caribbean, unique Caribbean city builders. Tropico 2 was pirate themed. I want a remake of that, or a reimagining of that. And don't do anything crazy to it. Just remake it, make it more compatible with modern systems, make it nicer looking. That was fun. Like, don't keep rehashing the same formula every single time. You know what I mean? I like Tropico. Don't get me wrong, but like after a while, I'm like, come on.
That's why, like, I have trouble with platformers. You know, they're so repetitive, or first person shooters sometimes, or even the open world stuff. You know, the last platformer I think that I played was Shanae and the Genie Cursed Pirate, something like that. Okay. It was actually pretty good.
Never heard of it.
It was, let me see. Hold on, wait. Okay, yeah. So it's very smooth.
Okay.
And it was actually a really great platformer because it was smoother than every other platformer that
was it a criminal?
Played. What do you mean?
It's a Michael Jackson reference. Forget it. You keep saying the word smooth. I had to know if it was a criminal or not. And go ahead.
It's called Shantae Half Genie Hero.
Wait, I need
Shantae.
There we go. My joke is now validated. Anyway, continue.
Yeah, but the graphics were really not. They were so nice, you know, and it was a fun platformer. And every other platformer was just like really the same, you know. But
well, look at Mario Brothers. Like, do you see every platform as being similar to the original Mario Brothers for the NES? Or look at, if you go even further back, have you played Pitfall for the Atari 2600? No, where it's just a 2D. Some guy blank, and then he's hopping over alligators. A jungle hunt. You're swinging from vine to vine and jumping over things. Like, those were the original platformers from way back in the day.
Sonic the Hedgehog was probably
that's Sega Genesis. That's
wasn't it? It was kind of a platform.
It was. Well, yeah, it is. It's a speedy. It's more of a speed demon platformer. You know what I mean?
And then there's Age of Empires and Rise of Nations. I always forget which one I'm playing because they're so similar.
I know. Well, Age of Empires Rise of Nations is clear because you're teching up from Stone Age to modern times. Like, to me, that's more that stands itself apart. I think that's a big enough thing. Whereas if you're playing, say, Age of Empires and Age of Empires 2, now the card system in Age of Empires 3, that was that extra twist that the game I think needed to make it a bit more unique. You know what I mean? Like, I like that kind of thing. I actually, some people didn't like the card system in Age of Empires 3. I liked it because it adds more, it gave me a reason to keep playing it because I was leveling up my home city and unlocking new cards, at least in the old Age of Empires 3. And the new Age of Empires 3, the one that just came out, everything's unlocked for you already. And I don't know how I feel about that. It removes that feeling of progression, but at the same time, I don't have to grind for years to get it done either. Back in the day, I used just to edit the INI file and just give myself levels. Anyway.
The SimCities. I'm sorry. I keep thinking of repetitive games. SimCity, was it? SimCity 1, 2, 3, and 4 were kind of the same.
There was SimCity 2000, 3000, 4, and then, SimCity 5. It was called EA called it SimCity from 2003, I think it was. But people were calling it SimCity 5, because in reality it was SimCity 5, but it was labeled SimCity.
Oh, okay. The one that I actually got into was SimCity 5. So I thought that was the only one that stood itself apart from everything else.
Here's the thing. In a way it did, but it actually took some steps back. In SimCity 4, you had this gigantic map, and there was it was like an 8x8 grid or a 10x10 grid, and you could go into each one and create a city. Whereas in SimCity 5, you had maybe, I don't know, 10 places that you could, like 10 blocks that you could go into and create something, if that. And SimCity 3000, I believe you could transfer like oil and gas to your neighbors. Like you could set up road connections.
You could do that with 5.
But that's what I mean, though. Like SimCity 3 was already doing that before 5 even did it. So to say that it was uniquely different, I don't know about that. Yes, graphically it looked better because SimCity hasn't been a thing for 10 years. Since from 2003 to SimCity 4. SimCity Skylines, despite the fact that it has several thousand DLC, it's still like that's the definitive SimCity experience, in my opinion. But
what else was I thinking? I forgot. Okay, I could go on and on. I'm sorry.
You could, but yeah, that was my number 3. Your number 3 is
hire the right people and don't be afraid to fire them.
Okay. And that, I think we touched on this kind of sort of already with, like, we were talking about, game developers hiding behind a computer and not hiring PR people to help them, to talk with the community. Whereas, what do you mean by hiring people? Like, you mean developers, publishers, PR, just all around?
All around. Like, there's so many games where it has great writing, like great writers, but they don't have good marketers. So they're not getting their game out there. And then the opposite is true. There's so many games that have great marketing with really bad writing. And
EA Star Wars Squadrons. Is that what you? I like the pew pews and the graphics, but yeah, the characters and stuff are a bit overdone.
Probably half that company. Anyways, so I just think, the person in charge of like the company or the whole game or whatever, they just, I don't know, just there needs to be better hires. I really do.
No, that makes sense.
For example, King of Retail, right?
Okay.
They need a better marketer, I think, because not enough people play it. And I think they need better, it's just one person making it,
or someone that's just savvy with social media. I don't see them very often on Twitter or Facebook or whatever. Like, I don't know. And I'm guilty. Like, part of my weakness is social media. I don't advertise my videos on social media as often as I should, and that's probably why I don't get as many subs every month as I generally do. I don't know. So
Tag, another great game that doesn't have as much marketing that I probably should have, I think.
You really like that one.
I do like Hack Tag.
All right, so we are on number 2 then, huh? All right. So my number 2 was interactive and clear tutorials. That is one of the first things that needs to be introduced into development. Clear tutorials, okay? I can't tell you how many early access games that I've played where the tutorial button is grayed out, coming soon, not implemented yet. How the heck is anyone supposed to get the full range of your game if they don't know how to play it? What is the point? That is one of the first things that you should introduce into your game if you're going to put it out on the market. If people don't know how to play your game, then what's the point? How are they supposed to see what you see? How are they supposed to envision what the game could be if they don't know what to do with it? Especially if it's a simulator or something that requires extensive, this window connects to this window, this value, this money over here is tied to this bank account. And like, you've got all these different things. Like, if you don't have a tutorial telling you how to do this, or those half-you-know-what tutorials that it's just a 2-page PowerPoint slideshow that there's no interaction, or those tutorials that you click through them. Yes, they might circle things on the interface, but no matter, like, there's a game developer that's guilty of this. I don't want to call them out, but maybe I should. It's like there's this bank simulator game. I don't remember the name of it, but in the tutorial it was like click on this
bank manager.
Yes, evil bank. Thank you, evil bank manager. It was like click on this button to continue. I could click anywhere, and it doesn't matter where I click, it would continue. Or type in this number or hire this person. I could click somewhere else, and I wouldn't hire them, and the tutorial would progress whether or not I actually did the right thing. You know what I mean? It was a clickable next slide PowerPoint presentation thing. That's all it was. So, like, if you're going to make a tutorial... Well, if you're going to make a game, make an interactive and clear tutorial and make sure you do it and test it. Make sure it's gone through Q&A several times so that every style of gamer is going to get your game. Everyone from the casuals, I don't know how to click my mouse, to I just played World of Warcraft for the last 3,000 hours and I'm ready to go to sleep now, but I want to play this for, you know what I mean? Like... You need to come up with some kind of interactive tutorial that everyone can understand, something that's clear, and you need to do it in layman's terms. Don't go like here Beetle Uprising. I hate to call them out again. They've got this stupid breeding system, LLs, and like even with the in-game descriptions, the tooltips, I still had no idea what the heck I was doing or how to interact with it or how to breed the beetles in a way that would give me more stats. So, that's a problem. That's not me not getting it. That's a problem. That's a failure on the developer's part to teach someone how to play their game. And developers that are too proud to admit that aren't going to get very far, in my opinion. So my number 2 is interactive and clear tutorials.
Yeah, I'm a visual learner, so when I have to do those, click here to do this, click here to do that, I'll do it. But it's really hard for me to actually soak it in when I don't see it and when I'm not doing it on screen myself, Yeah. But that actually ties into my number 2. Okay.
Well, let's go into that right now. Yeah, let's do that.
Which is options. Okay.
So what do you mean by options? You mean like the options menu, like full screen, VSync, and all that?
No. I mean like giving the game so many options. Like if someone doesn't want a tutorial, then they can just say
skip
I don't
tutorials.
Want a tutorial, or sandbox. So many games don't offer sandbox, but why not have sandbox? Why not have this? Why not have that? I like a good flexible game where you can like have so many things.
What pisses me off is when games launch and they throw you right into the tutorial, a non-skippable tutorial or first mission, without giving me the ability to adjust my sound levels, adjust the screen resolution. Like, there's no options menu until you get through the slog that is the forced first level or tutorial.
Or cutscenes.
That pisses me off. Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. That oh. Like, I get it. You're excited for people to see your game, but if your sound is like 3 million decibels and my ears are exploding, maybe let players adjust the volume before they start playing. That way they can appreciate it more. If I load up the game and do this, oh my God, what kind of first impression is that going to make on your game? No, go to the main menu, let them adjust things how they like it, then get into the game. I hate when games do that. It's a pet peeve of mine. Couldn't tell. Anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. But options.
No, you're fine. It's not even like menu options. I'm talking about like anything, just like if you want like the transparency of the menu box to be lighter. I don't know. I'm very like finicky.
No, you're the kind of person that would sit there and spend hours adjusting things. You're in character creation screens. You're constantly like let's say that we're playing a survival game, like 7 Days to Die. Okay, I create a character. I'm in. On day 18 is when she would be done creating her character and load in. I would have a base set up, food chains going, And she had just gotten done creating her. That's how detailed she is when it comes to certain things like that. So yeah, I can understand where she would want. Do you have the ability to change the color of your interface? Can I make this more opaque? You know, like those are things I think that you want to see. Correct?
Kind of. I mean,
Customization options.
Yeah, but like not
And
just
features.
that, like anything, like general, yeah, like features and just general stuff.
Campaign, sandbox, in addition to sandbox, maybe like let's say it's a city building game. Even if it's a sandbox, give me the ability to adjust sliders. One example is Death in Bermuda, where it didn't originally start out this way, but they eventually added the ability to customize every single detail of your play experience to make it as easy or as hard as you want. It's one of those turn-based survive on an island things. It's a story too. But you could adjust how hard you wanted the difficulty to be via sliders. 70%, 30% this, hunger. You know, it was awesome. And all games need to do that. I don't want to get too much into that because it's coming up, but yeah, more customization options.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else to say about that before we go into number one?
Probably. I'm gonna remember, but go ahead.
All right. Number one. This is my biggest thing. Multiple difficulty settings. I was just saying that. Death in Bermuda. I hate when games, and as much as I like Kingdom Two Crowns or Kingdom New Lands, there is no difficulty setting. So people are going to get slammed. And one of the criticisms I had with the game in my review was, this is a game like, if you accidentally drop a coin to cut down a tree, there's no cancel button. So what you do in that game is permanent. If you cut down a tree by accident and there just happens to be a vagrant camp right after that, it's now gone, and they will know that camp will no longer spawn workers that you could use then to get more people. Like you have to find workers somewhere else. That could lose the game for you. So like difficulty options, like there are some developers that are like, no, you're going to play the game my way because it's my vision. And then you've got games like Siege of Centauri by Stardock. It's a tower defense game. It has 10 difficulty settings on it, 1 through 10. Like, very easy to very hard. And that is awesome. Like, why can't... Yes, I love seeing easy, medium, hard. Fine. Give me more than that. Give me 1 through 10 like Stardock. Give me super baby easy mode. Give me super hard challenging mode. Iron Man mode, whatever. Like, give me more options. Give me sliders like Death in Bermuda so that I can find my own difficulty and then proceed to play it for several hours because I found that comfortable zone that I like to be in. That's any thoughts?
That's totally what my number 2 was. So like options, we need the option of a game difficulty, you know?
Okay.
So, yeah.
And what was your number 1?
My number 1 was don't be so politically correct. I hate politically correct games.
This is a touchy subject, just because, and I will say this though, the fact that we have to dance around this on a podcast is proof that humanity has not reached a point yet in its maturity to be able to be comfortable talking about these things, because we're still trying to figure it out without stepping on toes, without getting people angry, and we're talking
offending someone.
Without offending someone. Back in my day, it was a bit more, take it like a man kind of thing. Nowadays, it's a bit more, people are a bit more sensitive to things. I'm not saying it's bad or good. I'm just simply saying that.
I'll say it. No, I can. Not on your podcast.
Well, what I'm trying to say is, like, all right, I watch Star Trek. I'm all for infinite diversity and infinite combinations. That is the Vulcan philosophy. Infinite infinite diversity and infinite combinations. I believe in that. That being said, what I don't believe in is impracticality. I can understand where society can accept people of all different types. What I can't accept is 15 bathrooms in McDonald's and 1 table, because we've put a label on we've given everything. A chair is going to have its own bathroom pretty soon. Like it doesn't. We need to be both accepting but also practical about it. And right now we have not been able to draw a line to figure out, okay, at what point do we accept that the science behind biology is what we should be looking at, and people's beliefs, like how far.
All I said was, "Don't be so politically correct."
Well, I'm trying to be.
Went right in it.
Well, I'm just saying. All right, fine. Maybe I said too much. Okay.
I have to lay down on the couch, and you have to get out your little notepad. I feel like it's a psychology class now.
No, I think it's interesting to talk about. Like, we as a society, we have not figured out the extremes. Like, at what point do we draw the line? We've got two extremes right now, and we have not been able to find middle ground and to figure out a way to coexist these different ideas. At what point, you've got the scientists, biology, this is what it is because science says so, and then you've got other people saying, this is what it is because religion says so, and this is what it is because this is what I want it to be because I have every right to think how I want to think. Mm-hmm. At what point do you say, no, that's too extreme, and how do you all come together to agree on something universal? And I think as a society, we have not reached that point yet. And that's why politically incorrect, that's why we're having issues with that right now.
I think that if you're going to make a game, just make a game. Don't try to appease anyone. Just make a game that you want to make.
It's your vision. It's your vision, but at the same time, don't go out of your way to offend anyone particular either. That's just stupid. Like, don't go out of your way to make an anti-Trump game or an anti-Joe Biden game or whatever. Like, that's stupid. I mean, there's enough of that crap on Twitter. Every time I see Joe Biden posting something, there's Republicans pointing fingers at him and you Democrats this. And then every time on Trump, then Democrats, Republicans that. I see enough of that crap. I don't need that crap in my games. I'm sorry.
Any game that pushes an agenda, I don't like. Like, I think it's just annoying. It's more annoying than anything. You
can be free with your ideas in a game without going out of your way to criticize and antagonize people. Mm-hmm. Is what I'm saying. There are ways to do it tactfully. You know what I mean? So, politically correct. Any other things to say?
Politically, I don't know if I meant correct or incorrect. I don't know, but just keep the politics, the worldviews, yeah.
we play games to relax, and games are a form of entertainment. We play games to escape real life problems. There are a lot of people that hide in games because they can't deal with outside problems. And now all of a sudden we've got politics in games being forced on us sometimes. I can see where that might be a problem. So again, yes, as a developer, you have your own vision. We get that. And if you want to release a game that is politically correct or incorrect, that's your decision. But you're going to have to accept the consequences of what happens after that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, all right. Well, enough lecturing. I had a quick honorable mention. This is just something I thought of. And this is more of a side joke thing. Developers, a simulator. There's a simulator tag. There's simulators all over the place. A simulator is not an asset flip with an optional strip club. Okay? Mm-hmm. Just get that in your head. You know how many games are out on Steam now where you've got this crappy simulator game where, you're managing this internet cafe, but down the street there's this strip club and you can pay money and watch naked girls or something. That's not a simulator. Quit calling it a simulator.
I'll one up you on that. The idle games that are labeled as simulators.
A clicking simulator, maybe.
I hate those, dude. I hate that. I type in simulator, I want an actual simulator game, and they give me a stupid idle game. Like, if I wanted an idle game, I type in clicker idle game.
Mm-hmm, exactly. Okay. God, you're right. No, you're fine. So, again, I did mention that I was going to do my Patreon and Twitch thank yous next week, because not all of the money is in, so to speak. Like, people's cards are still being charged and all that stuff. So I'll do that next week, assuming there is a podcast next week. But I'll endeavor to do that because I do want to thank each and every one of you. As far as new releases, this being the Steam Winter Sale and Green Man Gaming Winter Sale, forget sales. The new releases anyway. Cyberpunk, I think, was the biggest release, and it's $60. So if you want to buy it, buy it. I've not played it. I did not get a key. But I will focus surely on just strictly on sales. Okay, and there's thousands of games out there on sale. I picked a couple. If you really want to see them all, you're gonna have to look for yourselves. But the ones I thought notable: Star Wars Battlefront 2 is 70% off, $12. It has a pretty good campaign and some decent skirmish, but that's 70%. Raft is great co-op, 33% off, $13. Ark is 80% off, $10. Overcooked 2 is 50% off, $12.50. Farm Together is 40% off, $12. Star Trek Bridge Crew, 60% off, $10. Sniper Elite 4 is 85% off, $8.99. All of that is through Steam. Green Man Gaming, I have a link. I'm a affiliate, so I get a small cut from the link that you click on whenever you buy something. Life is Strange, 84% off, $3.28. Fallout 76, 67% off, $13.18. Death Stranding, 59% off, $24.59. Outlast Trinity, I'm guessing that's either the third Outcast or all three of them, I'm not sure. 88% off, $7.02. Middle Earth, Shadow of War, 84% off, $9.84. Hitman 2 Gold Edition, 88% off, $12.30. Nier Automata, my brother's played that, I think, and he really likes it. 50% off, $20. Humble, not a whole lot there, not worth talking about anyway. Astroneer is 45% off at $16.57. Mountain Blade 2 Bannerlord is 29% off. It's early access, $35.49. So that's it for the sales. And again, new releases. This is a time for sales, especially now with the whole winter sale. Weekly Spanish sentence of the week. So I guess we'll quickly go over to that. And I have to find the sound effect, otherwise it just can't happen.
Oh, geez.
I feel like I'm hunting ghosts right now. We play it Destroying Phasmophobia to annoy the ghost, and it works sometimes. Alright, so let's see. And you came up with this, so you know how to translate it, but I have to try and figure it out. K, what?
You got it.
K, what? Tengen. Have. What have a año a nuevo 19. Año nuevo 19. Muy, very, feliz, happy, y muy, and very festivo, a todos day. Okay, so Lenos. Llenos de risas y alegría. Okay, so, alright, I think I got most of it, but the last part. So, what have a 19 very happy and very festival a day? Maybe nueve, wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Nueve, oh, so maybe nuevo is different from the number 9. Okay, so let me think about that. So maybe it's new year, or maybe it's year, nuevo. Que tengan un año, año might be year, actually. What have a year, new year. Año is new, I think. Año, new year, and happy, and very festival. So have a happy new year and happy festival a day. Sure. So have a happy new year. And this part. Llenos de risas. There's a planet on Star Trek called Risa. So I'm thinking it's Risa y Alegria. And there's a medicine called Allegra, and it's for allergies. And Ida Lee has been has a lot of allergies lately. So what I'm thinking is, what have a New Year, very festival and happy day on Ryza with allergies. That's what I'm thinking. Is that correct?
That was really impressive.
Was it?
I gotta say, that was very good.
I'm learning. Okay.
Very good.
So, in other words, I'm good then. All right, there we go. I think we're done. We're done here. So, what is it really?
It translates, well, it says que tengan un año nuevo muy feliz y muy festivo a todos, llenos de risas y alegría. Which
Okay.
means, have a very happy and very festive New Year, everyone, filled with laughter and joyfulness.
Okay. Well, there you go.
Very
I was
good.
close.
You almost, when you said nueve and you said 9, I was like, and then you fixed yourself, and I was like, okay, all right. good
Yeah.
job.
See, it only took an entire. You've been here for 3 years. I now know not what the number 9 sounds like. Okay. It's
Very
pretty
good.
sad. It's in another 3 years. I'll get the rest of the numbers 1 through 10 figured out.
Very good.
Mm-hmm. I do have a couple of pictures, and this is just ours. There's Sarah and Sandy sleeping together in the hammock. They like to do that. They're the two that can get out and back into the cage. They like to sleep in the cage for whatever reason. They really like those hammocks.
Yeah.
But so that's those two. And then we've got that's Sandy playing in a box. She's getting big though. She's getting tubby.
Good.
Yeah. She's very active and all over the place now. She's still doing that, but she's got some back now. Baby got back. Ferret got back. And then lastly, that's Sarah and Sophie in the green hammock. Augie's back there somewhere. I didn't get a good picture of him recently, but the reason why we've got a naked one there is because Sarah has an adrenal gland issues, had one for a year now or so. And that adrenal gland is common among ferrets, and that causes hair loss in the back. So as long as it doesn't cause any other problems, it can be ignored, but it's something we just have to watch. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's Sarah on the right and Sophie in the back with her head on Sarah's butt, I guess. So that's it for the pet pictures. As far as game nights, again, every Friday around 7 p.m. EST is typically when they are. But we've been very loose with that. It's because of schedules and the holidays. We don't know who's doing what. So come to our Discord channel and let me know when you're free and what games you want to play, and we'll try and accommodate. We do have an eco server going when we're online and playing it. I don't have it running 24/7 because I don't trust people, and I don't trust myself to know enough about servers to keep one up and running without hackers getting into it. But anyway. If you want, if you play the game Eco and you want to play with us, come to our Discord channel so that we can coordinate, and maybe I can create an Eco chat channel, and then we can leave notes for each other and be like, I need this the next time someone's on, or that way, if we're playing, we can all get into voice chat together and communicate that way. So yeah, I mean, if you want to play Eco with us, you're welcome to. It's a community thing. And my best advice is get on Discord if you haven't already. That way we can coordinate that.
And that goes with for all the other games that we play too, like Phasma, Deep Rock Galactic, State of Decay 2, and all that.
Yep, there's a Discord link in the below description, so make sure you click on that. And that's all I've got. If you've got anything else, then I think we can call it.
Nope, that's good.
We good? All right. Well, that was a pretty successful podcast, I think. Let's go ahead and give ourselves a round of applause. Yes, beautiful.
What? Okay.
Yeah, they were in awe over our wonderful podcast.
Okay.
It wasn't an awe, it was awe. It was
okay.
AWE. Awe. Well, it's sure.
That's baloney.
Yeah, it was baloney.
All right, sure.
Yeah. All right,
you
folks.
guys have a happy new year.
Yes. This is Vince, Ida Lee. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you next time. Take care.
Bye, guys.
Bye.